Hey everyone, welcome back to the garage. So it's the night before we load up to go to Montreal. It's about a little over a month since our accident at Road Atlanta, and I wanted to show you what we've been up to since then. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get everything repaired for Watkins Glen, and when you see all the work that we've done, it might make sense why. So I'll show you the new parts, or the parts that we were able to salvage. The upright here itself, we were able to take out. It wasn't too badly damaged. We did replace this guy, and I think this guy is new as well. The drive shaft here was able to come out. It was just fine. So all the new stuff here are the wishbones, the upper and lower, and the push rod here. Everything else is new, or is salvaged. The brake caliper is fine. This is a new line that came inside of this. This is our transport wheel that we use to push the car around. It makes things a lot easier. The bell crank here is new. You can see it's a little bit different than the old one, but the geometry is all the same. So that's what's really important. I'll show you the gearbox in a little bit, but this cross member here is new. It was bent back pretty bad. This guy's new as well. This one is the old one. It didn't get damaged. The anti-roll bar here is new as well. If we go over here, take a look at the bodywork, you can see the side pod here is new. We haven't put the sticker on, the YouTube sticker, but below it we've put all the new for this year. The sponsor strip is what they call it. The lower side pod is new as well. You can see it over here. It's actually not too bad. The only damage really is down here. And we're going to be able to repair that so we can have a spare. But it would take too long to make it work for this one. If you look over here, there was a little bit of damage to the engine cover. So it's you probably can't see it very well on camera, but there's some cracking around here and over here as well. So my dad has done some stuff to fix it. You can still see it kind of through there. Hopefully it won't show too badly in the sun. But he's repainted it, he's repaired it. We've repainted the side pod back here as well. So we just have to put some stickers on and it's ready to go. The gearbox, so the gearbox from here forward was totally fine. The case here and the cover here were both damaged. This one had a hole poked into it, and this one was cracked, like right around here. So these parts are actually from the old gearbox. If you remember last year in Pittsburgh, we blew a differential, so we had to put a whole new gearbox on it. These two parts were fine from the old gearbox. Actually, the entire case was fine. So we had these sitting around in the shop. We just bolted them back on. We put the gear ratios in for Montreal, and it's all ready to go. I wanted to show you this. This is the selector finger, so it's right here. It's actually at the end of the shift linkage that goes into the cockpit. And this is bent. You can't really, it's really hard to see. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but even with the naked eye, it's really difficult to see. But it was bent, so we had to replace that. So when I'm in neutral and I'm sort of wobbling it back and forth, this is going to rotate. And then when I shift in gear, it moves forward and it engages the dog collars and stuff. So that's about it. I guess when I say it like that, it doesn't seem like a lot, but it was quite a bit. If you look down here on the floor, if you get under the car, you might see just under, or just in front of the jack stand there, is a new aluminum piece on the floor. The floor went all the way back to here pretty much. And when I went into the dirt backwards, it grabbed it and bent it back. And it packed the clutch bell housing full of dirt. There was like a mound of dirt that I dug out when I opened that up. And so we just riveted a small aluminum plate just to keep the dust out and the dirt out of the clutch. So apparently we lose a little bit of torsional rigidity in the chassis, but it's like immeasurable, so it doesn't really matter. Another thing that might be hard to see, this is one of the engine mounts, or the chassis. I guess the engine actually doesn't mount to it, but the oil tank does. So This got bent, and I don't know if you can still, you can see it very slightly. You can see it much better when the bodywork is off, but it was bent, and there was a small crack right here. You can see we welded the crack. We bent it back a little bit, welded the crack, and I'm told that it is fine. They were very confident about it, and I trust them very much, so it should be fine. We do have the piece to replace this, but you have to weld it in to the lower member. So it's going to be a lot of work, and we will do that at the end of the season because it would take a lot of work. This guy here had a big dent in it, so we bought a new one of these. We cut it off from the exhaust. This is the old exhaust. We welded it back on. There was a few cracks in the exhaust. You can see here this was welded back. There's some anti-seize there. And there was a few cracks in the front that we welded, and they should be fine. Oh, as well, the heat shield right here was curled forward. There's a little crack there you can still see. But we bent it back, and it should be good to go as well. The front was pretty much fine. When I was sitting in the car today, we were putting the gearbox back together. I was turning the wheel, and I could feel there was a bit of graininess in the steering wheel, so I assume that some dirt came into the steering rack, and I don't think it'll be such a big deal, but something to keep an eye on. Anything else? I think that's about it. One unique thing about this weekend for me that's new is that I'm going to have a professional mechanic. We had our friend Jim come down and help us with the repairs on the car, and he's apparently never been to Montreal for the F1 race, so he wanted to come up and is going to help out. So it's going to be a huge luxury for me to have a professional race mechanic helping me out. And while he's working on the car, I'm going to grab the camera and show you what he's doing and what goes on between the sessions. So that's going to be exciting. Hopefully it works out. I'm not super great with the camera, so we'll see how it goes. But even if it's not super professional, I'll still throw it up to show you guys what happens behind the scenes. So we load up the car tomorrow. I'm driving all day from Pittsburgh to Albany on Wednesday, and then Thursday morning I'll drive up from Albany to Montreal, and Thursday afternoon we'll get settled in the paddock, and Friday we start practice and qualifying and racing on Sunday or Saturday, and then another race on Sunday. So I'll see you guys there. So we've arrived in Montreal, but before we can go to the track, the rules for F1600 Canada dictate that I have to use this specific gas station in Montreal to buy fuel for the weekend. As you can see, it's just regular 91 octane pump gas. So we'll fill up our fuel jugs here and head over to the circuit. Once we got the car unloaded, the next step is to get it onto the setup pad. The guys at Brian Graham Racing were kind enough to let us use theirs, so my mechanics Jim and Alex set up corner weights, camber, and toe.
So we say we wanted about 4.
Yeah, so let's go with half the thickness.
Yeah, that's
what you put on. Right?
You
can have enough.
Yeah, like even when you make it, just because it doesn't pick up off. Because as you change the camber, it lays off of the hub. So as you change the camber, it moves your center line. So essentially you left, right, center line, right? And if we didn't know it, it was so that the Audi guys do it with TTCC, and I'm like, okay, so I watched them do it, and it's like,
I'm much more comfortable even.
Does it matter that the bubble's not centered?
Yeah, rotate a little bit.
as you change the camber, and that's what I couldn't figure out why we're really doing so that.
I'm good with that. I'm really good with that. Yeah, okay.
I noticed this one bit is scratching on the roof a bit. That's
Yeah.
big concern.
So the correct tool to do this is a long ball end bit for ratchet.
We have those.
Do we? Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
But I think so.
I'm just getting that it's almost nothing.
Yeah, I'm getting about 104 on each.
Yeah. Okay. So we're at 1.5 total with a slight dog.
With the setup pad finished, our first practice session was up next. The procedure at Montreal for getting on the track is a little bit different than most circuits. We all line up in the paddock, and then they take us to the pre-staging area, which is near the hairpin. We hang out there for about half an hour, and then we go to the staging area, which is farther down the back straight. After about 20 minutes of sitting there, we finally get strapped into the cars and drive onto the F1 pit lane.
we're a little. Oh.
Whoa!
Jeff, what is wrong with you?
I'm trying to talk to my driver. We're under like 2 minutes.
Okay. I'm gonna do like 4 or 5 laps and come in.
Okay. And you're gonna pit in here.
Yeah. I want new tires in 2 seconds.
Very good. We'll be down about by Ferrari.
Okay.
So watch for Ferrari on the left. Look for us. And I'll wave you in.
Okay. Just borrow some of their tools.
Where's Alex?
I don't know.
Okay, well, we'll find him.
Yeah. it's really loose on corner entry.
Really loose.
Yeah, like if I try to roll off the brakes at all and carry any speed in, the back end steps out.
Okay. All right. All right.
That change helped. It was towards the last couple laps. It was trending towards understeer. I didn't get a chance to soften the bar.
Okay. All right. You want to work the bar a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. That helped on a scale. How much did it help? Like halfway there?
I would say it was 90% of the way there.
Okay. Did the understeer pick up immediately, or did it pick up after a lap or two?
The last two laps I had understeer.
Okay.
Corner exit.
Corner exit.
Yeah.
Corner exit. Okay. All right. Well, you know, I hate to be changing the shocks. Eric said they're really good,
Yeah,
but a corner exit understeer is where I would go for a damper change.
Okay.
You know? We could always change it and then record our change and then click back too.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think that's such a bad idea. I don't know if the checkers are
How much time is left?
No, did they checker it? We don't know. We're really close on time. Hey, pop the nose off.
There's a shitload of traffic.
I'm sorry?
There's a shitload of traffic.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, 1 second. You know where the rebound adjustment is on these?
No, it's one of the little
Yeah, is it the top or the bottom?
If I could get out, but
Well, there's the two little sweep dials. Yeah. There's a close one, and then there's one furthest away. Yeah, I don't want to do that. Okay. I don't want to do that. Put it back. Clutch now. You have a clutch now or not? No.
I thought it's weird. It's like there's a really weak spring.
Yeah. Okay. I think we're going back. Okay.
I'm not gonna do that.
No. Go ahead and start it. We'll push you off once he's clear. Okay.
We're done, right?
Yeah. Make sure you got our shit up.
So that's it for our practice session. I ended up 11th fastest out of 38 cars. It's pretty much just the big, experienced, well-funded teams in front of us. So I was pretty happy with that result. Next up, we'll have the 2 race videos as I normally do, and then I'll have part 2 of the vlog showing the races from a slightly different perspective. So thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you soon.